You ever wonder why some people make it and others don't? Why some people rise while others stay stuck? It ain't talent. It ain't luck. It's consistency. It's showing up, doing the work over and over, whether you feel like it or not. That's the real secret. And it ain't easy. In fact, it's the hardest thing you'll ever do. Because discipline, true discipline, ain't built when it's convenient. It's built when it's uncomfortable. You don't get in shape by going to the gym once a month. You don't master a skill by practicing only when you feel inspired. You don't build a legacy by taking days off whenever life gets tough. You force yourself to be consistent. Motivation is like a spark. It ignites something inside you, makes you feel unstoppable, makes you believe that this time you're going to do it. This time you're not going to quit. But that spark, it burns out fast. And when it does, what's left? Nothing, unless you have something stronger to keep you going. See, that's the problem with most people. They think they need to feel a certain way before they can take action. They wait for motivation to strike, like it's some magical force that's going to wake them up at 5 a.m., make them hit the gym, make them stay disciplined. But motivation is unreliable. It's a guest. It comes and goes as it pleases. And if you're waiting for it to show up before you move, you're setting yourself up to fail. Think about the last time you made a commitment to yourself. Maybe you decided to wake up early every day, start a new routine, work on that dream that's been sitting in the back of your mind. The first few days you were fired up, you were ready. But then something happened. The excitement faded. The excuses started creeping in. I'll start again tomorrow. One day off won't hurt. I'm just too tired today. And before you know it, you're back where you started. That's the difference between people who succeed and people who don't. The ones who make it, they don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. Discipline is showing up when you don't feel like it. Discipline is getting out of bed when it's cold, dark, and every part of you wants to stay under the covers. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you're not in the mood. That's what separates the greats from everybody else. You think champions feel like putting in the work every single day? You think the best in the world wake up every morning excited to grind? No. They have days where they don't want to do it, just like you, but they do it anyway, because they understand something most people don't. How you feel doesn't matter. Kobe Bryant didn't wake up at 4 a.m. because he felt like it. He did it because he made a decision. He made a commitment to himself that no matter what, he was going to show up, rain or shine, tired or not. And that's why he was the best. Not because he was always motivated, but because he was always consistent. So let me ask you something. Are you waiting to feel ready? Because if you are, you'll be waiting forever. There is no perfect moment. There is no magic switch that's suddenly going to make you want to work harder. You have to make the choice right now to be disciplined, to be consistent, to do it even when you don't want to. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that's going to take you where you want to go. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. That's the truth most people ignore. They wait, they hesitate, they think they need a perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect conditions. But greatness isn't built on perfection, it's built on repetition. It's built on showing up day in and day out, long after the excitement is gone. A small action done daily turns into something massive. You don't climb a mountain in one step. You do it one small step at a time. You don't write a book in one day, you do it one page at a time. You don't become a champion overnight, you do it one practice at a time. The mistake people make is thinking they need to go big from day one. They burn themselves out trying to do too much, too fast. But success isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. There's a reason why compound interest is called the eighth wonder of the world. Not because it gives instant rewards, but because it rewards those who stay the course. The same applies to your goals, your habits, your life. It's not about what you do once in a while. It's about what you do every single day. Let's take two people. Person A hits the gym hard for 1 week, pushing themselves to the limit. But then life gets in the way. They take a day off, then another. Before they know it, a week has passed, then a month, and they're back to square one. Then there's person B. They don't go crazy. They don't try to lift the heaviest weights or run a marathon in one go. They just show up 30 minutes a day, every day, no matter what. They train when they feel good and they train when they don't. Who do you think wins in the end? It's not the one who starts with the biggest burst of energy. It's the one who refuses to stop. It's the same in life, business, relationships, success. It ain't the big flashy moments that make you. It's the small, disciplined actions, the ones nobody sees, the ones nobody claps for. The reality is you're either getting better or you're getting worse. There is no And every single action is a deposit or a withdrawal from your future success. If you show up, even when you don't feel like it, you're depositing into that future. If you skip, if you make excuses, if you break your own word, you're pulling from it. Consistency is a muscle. You either train it or you lose it. And the strongest people, the ones who actually make it, they're not the most talented, not the smartest, not the luckiest. They're the ones who learned how to keep showing up. Because in the end, success doesn't come down to one big move. It comes down to the hundreds, the thousands, the millions of small moves that, when added up, make you unstoppable. Let me tell you something. Your feelings are the enemy. They whisper excuses in your ear. They tell you to take it easy, to rest, to do it later. They make you believe that because you don't feel like it, you shouldn't do it. But that's a lie. That's the biggest lie you will ever believe. You're not always going to feel like working hard. You're not always going to feel like showing up. Some days you'll wake up tired. Some days you'll feel unmotivated. Some days you'll tell yourself that skipping just this once won't hurt, but success doesn't care about how you feel. Your goals don't wait for your emotions to line up. The world doesn't pause until you're in the mood to give your best. The greats, they push through, whether they feel like it or not. They train their minds to ignore the voice that says, not today. They learn to silence the part of themselves that wants comfort, that wants to quit. They understand something most people don't. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't want to do it. Michael Phelps swam over 50 miles a week, rain or shine, sick or exhausted. He got in that pool, not because he felt like it, not because he woke up every morning excited to train, but because he knew that his feelings didn't matter. What mattered was consistency. What mattered was showing up. And when the moment came, when everything was on the line, all those hours, all those days, all those moments of pushing through when he didn't want to, it all paid off. That's why he won. That's why he became a legend. Now look at your own life. How many times have you let your feelings win? How many times have you hit snooze when you promised yourself you'd wake up early? How many times have you skipped the gym, put off the work, ignored the grind, just because you didn't feel like it? And where has that gotten you? Every time you let your feelings dictate your actions, you stay the same. Every time you give in to that excuse, you put your dreams on hold. And if you keep waiting for the day when you feel ready, let me tell you something, you'll be waiting forever. When you wake up and don't feel like showing up, that is the moment you have to show up the most. That is the moment that counts. Because if you can push through when you don't want to, you become unstoppable. You stop being controlled by your emotions. You stop making decisions based on what's easy and stop making decisions based on what's necessary. And when you do that, when you learn to act in spite of how you feel, you start winning. You start building a life that's not controlled by excuses, but by action. And that's when everything changes. Goals are good, but they're not enough. Anybody can set a goal. Anybody can say, I want to be successful. I want to be rich. I want to be in shape. But wanting something doesn't make it happen. Writing it down, repeating it, dreaming about it, that's not what separates the successful from the ones who never make it. The difference? Systems. A goal is saying, I want to lose 20 pounds. A system is saying, I will wake up at 6 a.m. every morning and work out no matter how I feel. A goal is saying, I want to start a business. A system is saying, I will dedicate 2 hours every single night to learning, researching, and building. A goal is the dream. The system is the execution. And execution is what turns dreams into reality. The problem is most people get caught up in the excitement of setting a goal. They feel motivated. They feel inspired. But motivation is temporary, and when it fades, they're left with nothing to keep them going. That's why they quit. That's why they fall off, because they were relying on a feeling instead of a system. Look at the most successful people in the world. They don't just have big dreams. They have a process. They have routines. They have non-negotiable habits that keep them moving forward even when they don't feel like it. They take the decision-making out of it. There's no debate, no second guessing. It's just part of their life. You think an Olympic athlete wakes up and asks themselves if they feel like training? No, they just do it because it's part of the system. You think the best entrepreneurs in the world only work when they feel inspired? No. They put in the hours day after day because they have a structure that forces them to stay consistent. That's the key. You can't depend on willpower alone. Willpower runs out, it gets tired, it gets distracted. But a system doesn't care about your mood. A system doesn't care if you're tired or busy or stressed. A system keeps you moving forward no matter what. So ask yourself, What systems are you building? What habits are you locking in? If you want to write a book, are you setting aside time to write every single day? If you want to get in shape, have you built a routine that makes working out automatic? If you want to master a skill, are you putting in the time, day in and day out, until it becomes second nature? Success isn't about luck. It's not about talent. It's about consistency. And consistency comes from systems that make success inevitable. So don't just set goals, build the systems that make them happen. There's a moment in every journey where the weight feels too heavy, the road too long, and the progress too slow. It's that moment where frustration sets in, where doubt creeps into your mind and whispers, maybe this isn't for me. That's the breaking point. And it's the place where most people give up. They don't quit because they're weak. They don't quit because they don't want it. They quit because they can't see how close they are. They quit because the pain of pushing forward feels bigger than the reward they're chasing. But what they don't realize is that just beyond that breaking point is the breakthrough. Think about it. How many people stop just inches from success? How many businesses shut down right before they were about to take off? How many people walk away from their dreams because they didn't see results fast enough? They weren't failing, they just stopped too soon. The ones who make it, they aren't always the smartest, they aren't always the most talented, they're just the ones who refuse to quit. They're the ones who kept showing up even when it felt like nothing was working. Even when they had every reason to stop, they didn't. They kept pushing, they kept grinding, they pushed through the moment that broke everybody else. Look at some of the greatest success stories in history. Do you think they never faced a breaking point? Do you think they never wanted to give up? Every great athlete, every great artist, every great entrepreneur has hit that wall. The moment where they questioned whether it was worth it. The moment where everything inside them screamed stop, but instead of stopping, they went harder. Michael Jordan didn't make his high school varsity basketball team. Most kids would have taken that as a sign that they weren't good enough. He took it as fuel. He trained harder. He worked longer. He refused to let failure define him. And the rest is history. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 different publishers. Can you imagine that? 12 times she was told no. 12 times she was told this won't work. Most people would have stopped after the first or second rejection, but she kept going. She believed in her work. She refused to quit. And today, the Harry Potter series has sold over 500 million copies. The difference between success and failure isn't talent. It isn't intelligence. It's resilience. It's the ability to keep going when everything tells you to stop. When you hit that wall, when you feel like you can't take another step, you've got two choices. You can let it break you, or you can break through. So when that moment comes, and trust me, it will, remember this, the pain of pushing forward is temporary. The regret of quitting lasts forever. Keep going, keep grinding, because your breakthrough is waiting on the other side. So here's the challenge. Starting today, don't wait. Don't overthink. Don't make excuses. Just show up, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Force yourself to be consistent, and life will reward you in ways you can't imagine. The question is, will you keep going? Because if you do, you won't just reach success, you'll become unstoppable.